Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a look at a handful of gaming coins here based on my community's requesting that I cover these, and ultimately the idea is to help you with dollar cost average targets so we know where to add to our position as the price comes down if it were to continue. Something just to kind of keep in mind, when you use dollar cost averaging, you're only using small portions of your overall portfolio, never a large amount, and you're adding to it consistently at lower price points and setting limit orders for those targets. Okay, so that's kind of the concept here. And these are the coins that we're going to cover, of course, Axie Infinity, Engine, Gala, Mana, Vulcan Forge, and Sandbox. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at those more popular coins. There was a handful of other ones I covered previously, I think back in February and March, but gaming took a pretty big hit, as you could probably already tell, with most of your portfolio probably being down at least 50 to 80%, maybe even 90 in some. So again, we're going to pick up the more specific ones, the coins that I would say have a little bit more longevity potential. We're going to review those and cover those here. And moving forward, I'm going to try my best to, of course, try to cover this monthly to ensure that we stay on target with that. Because we are expecting a little bit more downside from Bitcoin, and it would be helpful to kind of know where to add to our position. And that's the concept here. So if you are new to the channel, not a financial advisor, love teaching people to trade, hopefully you can learn something here today. My goal is to help you become a better trader. So of course, if you want to become one, CryptoCache.tech is a site. Link in the description below. We can effectively help you become a better trader. Got a trading community, academy, and signal group. Check that out in your own time. I do also offer military discounts for third world countries, or just in general, military and third world countries. And last little note is only use the contact information in the comments below. I will never directly message you. Okay, I will never solicit you for anything. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, so taking a look here, of course, at Axie. First things first, we're just going to go ahead and touch on pretty simple stuff. In other words, we're looking as if the price is going to keep going down. Okay, not really expecting the price to come up anytime soon based on the overall sense of the market. That said, we want to set targets effectively based on that sentiment. And if we were to zoom in a little bit further here, we can see based on previous data here, we can anticipate that the price action, with it having coming down as low as, what was it, 15, right about $16. So 16.15 was the lowest point recently. A good DCA target would be 16.20, right, just above that, because when you're setting targets for dollar cost average, you never set it right at that specific support level, or in general could even be a Fibonacci retracement line. You always want to set it just a little bit above so you ensure you get filled. Okay, so 16.20 would be a good target. A secondary target there based on previous resistance levels is 11.75, and I believe there's even one further down, or is no, there isn't. That is essentially the lowest point. So I would only recommend these two dollar cost average targets, or somewhere in between, based on the simple sense that the Fibonacci retracement here based on this retracement level recent data is essentially our next Fibonacci retracement line is a negative number. So obviously we're not going to set a negative number there. And if you're going to invest, invest accurately and at those price points. All right, so that's example number one there for Axie. Looking at Engine here, of course, something very similar, because these lines that I'm drawing, by the way, aren't just random lines on the charts. They're previous resistance level and support levels. So these two levels were support and resistance levels. We can see here as well that the previous support is concurrent with the lowest price point we just saw here recently. So a great example here is what, 0.48, so what, 48 cents? You could say 49 cents would be an appropriate DCA target in case we get another candle wick down there, right? As well as the fact that the current price point, we see the resistance level here at about 67 cents. So just something to be aware of. We could probably see the price action in the range that it's at right now for some time. But if it were to come down, I would say 49 cents would be an accurate estimate there. And then if we look at Fibonacci as well, again, this is an extreme worst case scenario, I would say 7 cents would be the alternative to that. Or probably round up more so and just say 8 cents. Now that's a pretty big gap, okay? So what we probably want to do is look at the previous support as well, and you can see the price kind of wicked down a few times at this level. So right around 32 cents would be another one. So to summarize, 49, 32, and 8. 49, 32, and 8 cents. All right, so those are the three targets there for Engine. Taking a look here at Gala, this is an interesting one, based on how obviously strong it pushed up. Based on Fibonacci, we really can't tell. I mean, the next Fibonacci retracement level is negative. So in all reality, Gala is pretty darn low considering. So what we want to do is just kind of draw out some lines from basically previous support levels and kind of see where that's at. And right now we're hugging that line. Okay, so ultimately, I would say to be cautious and careful investing in Gala at this point. 7.5 cents seems like a good value, but once again, we could see anything as low as 5 or lower. Okay, so I'd say 5.2 cents would be appropriate, as well as maybe adding to your position presently if Bitcoin decides it wants to continue higher. Again, Bitcoin is kind of on a razor's edge right now. It could go up or down. Honestly, it's really hard to say. It's giving us signs it wants to push up temporarily, but the macro on Bitcoin is downside. So keep that in mind. That's why we're using these dollar cost average targets, because we're expecting lower price points. So I would say 5.2 would be a good point there, and then I wouldn't recommend a price point any lower than that, just based on the fact that it would effectively, if you exclude its ICO date, it'd be making it would be in price discovery to the downside. You never want to invest in coins that do that. Luna is a great example of what could go wrong when that happens. Right now, again, I know that whole mix-up is it's a totally different story, but it's kind of an example, I guess you could say, of what that could look like. So take a look here at Mana. I didn't draw out the Fibonacci retracement levels just based on the simple fact that we do have a negative number for the next tier down. So we're going to rely specifically on support levels. And we can see here, previously the support level here was a resistance and then turned support right at about 38? Yeah, 38. So if you're going to dollar cost average into Mana, 39 cents would be an appropriate target. And a secondary target, of course, would be the most recent low right here, where the price wicked down to 63 cents, make it 64. So 64 cents and 38 cents, 64.38. All right, so that's kind of what we're looking at there for Mana. Take a look at Vulcan Forge. This one's an interesting one. It's kind of right back in its original range. So it kind of left that little comfort zone to reach all-time highs and come right back down. Of course, there's a lot that happened with this coin. We don't need to get into it. But generally speaking, based on previous support levels, we can see here that this level here at about $3.15 is the lowest point in which the price went, as well as the fact that that was a previous low as well. So in other words, it's kind of reaffirming itself as a support. So if 315 is a support, then what would be a good dollar cost average target? Maybe 320 or something slightly higher. So yeah, I would say 320, adding a little bit to that again, so you're not missing out on that fill if it were to wick down again. Because a lot of times we'll see double bottoms and that second bottom wicks down to that level, but doesn't go any further. Okay, so 320 would be appropriate, and then secondary, I would say worst case scenario would be 110, because that was the most lowest support level from there. Do not invest anything lower than that, honestly. It's just not really worth it. Again, big picture, if you believe in Vulcan Forge, then obviously invest in it, right? That's kind of the concept. These coins should be longer term. These do have longer term potential. Like I omitted UFO, UOS, and a handful of other ones like Hero. Most of them are abysmal as far as their price point right now, and they may actually go under. But these coins do have a tendency and a decent track record of doing well, and I think we might be able to see that happen. So taking a look here, of course, the lowest point here that we saw the price recently retrace was right at about 96 cents. So 97 or 98 cents would be an effective or appropriate DCA target. Below that, we also see 56 cents as a previous support level, so make it 57 or 58. And then furthermore, worst case scenario, we're looking at 17 cents as the previous support, which is concurrent with this Fibonacci retracement level. So that should be the absolute bottom we're going to see the price action in the immediate future for Sandbox. Okay, so again, 90, I think I said 97 or 98, 57 or 58. And of course, the very last one there is about 16. I round up to say 17 cents. Okay, and essentially that's really all we need to do to effectively be able to pick dollar cost average targets. Because I get the question a lot, how do you do it? This is pretty much just a walkthrough on how to set DCA targets, and this is more so specifically for these gaming coins. I'll have other genres, of course, as well that I'm going to release here soon. But generally speaking, this should give you some direction on where do you add to your position when the price is moving down. Previous support, previous resistance levels are always a good place to start, as well as the simple fact that we can use Fibonacci to an extent, but some of them are a little bit over on the overextended side, and once they're in price discovery to the downside, it's not worth touching. So if these coins break below the lowest point in which they've previously gone, you want to be very careful. All right, so I hope you found benefit here. Of course, if you did, comment below, like, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below. We have an amazing community, and of course, this is actually an opportunity for you to become a better trader. The best time to train is when the market is down. You can paper trade, you can have some fun and actually get, see if the skills that you're learning are going to apply.
A lot of my students, or members, however you want to look at it, have found great benefit and have graduated essentially and moved on to become better traders. All right, that being said, I look forward to working with you. Thanks so much for your time. We'll see you next video. Have a great rest of your day.